Hello, I am just making sure my stream is doing well, and I am loading my other stream because my other channel is has a little bit more viewers than one, so I might get a few more people watching if I upload there as well. And I will be uploading on Instagram. Um, I did have a little error blip in my. I usually try to record on a few different platforms, and I was using old phones for that. Luckily, they were old phones, but they both broke in 1 week. So, um, anyways, today I will just be doing my best, and hopefully I can help some people out of the holiday blues if they've been having it. Um, I know it's definitely affecting myself and my family, especially with the crazy weather. It's even affecting my dog recently. So, seasonal affective disorders definitely, you need the sun. And I'm not sure if I've mentioned on this platform prior that I have a pituitary tumor, um, but I do have a pituitary tumor, and when I am in the sun, my blood work tends to be much better. Last year, the doctor actually thought I had cancer and told me I had a few months to live. So I went to Puerto Rico and I was outside in the sun every day. And lo and behold, when I came back, my blood work was fine and there was no cancer. So that was really nice, obviously. Anyways, though, my uh, pituitary tumor affects my experience from other people's experience. Although I do feel that in this way, I really can relate to, if not, I feel like I can relate to the transgender group because I do have both male and female hormones, and sometimes I have a lot of testosterone. And so the pituitary gland is a gland in the brain, just to give a small biology lesson, that uh, basically it controls all the hormones in the body, and everything reacts to hormones. So, and hormones pretty much run the show in our body. So when your hormones aren't working, you aren't either. And so I have actually been waiting a very long time for my disability, and it's been a stressful week for myself. Um, because I had to go to even though I have like 15 or 20 doctors, I had to go to get assessed by a doctor who saw me for an hour. I mean, it wasn't his fault. He was nice, but I feel like the government, I mean, I'm not sure what the point of that was. Like, maybe they just didn't want to go through 30 years of records. So I'm not sure. But I've had a really rough week, and I had been trying to upload regularly, and I have not stuck to that schedule. There were so many nights where I wanted to, and even just the getting to this point of getting live takes a while. You got to get a picture, and you got to write your little script and try and get something eye-catching. And it does actually take quite a bit of time, especially when your brain's not like totally functioning. Also, this eye is being lazy. The pituitary is right here, the pituitary gland. So it can sit on the optic nerve, and when it's acting up, that sometimes happens. So, in my well, if you're watching this channel, already are here. I made I believe it's called a live tree, that I'm trying to connect all my social medias on instead of posting every single one confusingly in each video. But that's more for my other channel, which I'm not really using as much, but I am going to post this video as soon as I get to it. So I'm just going to give a quick pause. No one's with us right now. So just give me a minute and I'll be sitting here. Just if anyone comes in, I'll be glad to greet you. I never realized how much work went into these videos until recently. Well, I mean, until I started trying to do them myself, and it is just, I mean, some people have absolutely beautiful videos, and I don't know how they do it. Maybe they're just talented, or maybe it's not that hard, but I definitely am impressed by other people's videos. So I just wanted to say that. Okay, so I'm almost done. Oh, wait. Edit. Did I not put the word more? Ah. Okay, so you have to write tags. So I'll put stress, holidays, sad, seasonal, affective, um, oh, that's not going on there at all. My other computer, the laptop doesn't work. The keyboard on the laptop doesn't work. But I got this handy dandy keyboard here, and so I saved it. Thank goodness. It was an early Christmas present to my mother because this is my other computer is my mom's, that I'm using. So holidays, seasonal, affective disorder. I guess I'll put pituitary gland. Okay, that's all I'm gonna put here. Okay. All right, we're going to go live on the other one. And I'm going to adjust the screen. And oops, I'm going to go live or try to go live on my Instagram that I just made recently. So let's see if that works. I just closed it like real fun there. Okay. So the second computer is not working yet. So it says going live. Maybe I have too many windows open. I'll close two of them. Yeah, there we go. I think that should make it better. Okay. What is going on? Well, okay, it keeps saying going live. Alrighty, so let's get here on my Instagram. I hope it goes live. I don't know when the last time anybody watched one of my videos was, but okay. And then let's see if my tripod will work. Maybe I'll put it in between these two. Oh boy, that's really high. Yeah, maybe I can like, nope. That's gonna be crazy looking. Okay, I guess it's gonna go like that. Okay, so I am live right now on my new YouTube channel, as well as my original YouTube channel is still trying to go live. It's having a little bit of problems. So I'm gonna try and wait for some people to get on the stream. I'm going to give it about a few minutes just to see if anyone joins us. So I want to explain a little bit about my channel. I will be talking about different life experiences I've had and how I've learned from them, and I guess what I wish I learned sooner. I'm still not live on the other computer. And that each experience we have is a, oh no. Okay, so I just give me one moment. Let's see. Nobody's on yet. So I'm going to restart with, I mean, we're not going to actually restart. But let's see if I can get my other computer working. No. Is it? Oh, successfully. It says successfully connected. Who knows? But it still says going live. Okay, well, we'll see what happens. So, excuse me, my mouth is dry. I do have ADHD, and I did take some Adderall today. I've been extremely tired. Hi, baby. How are you? So this is my new channel where I talk about psych issues. So I've been working a lot with breathing techniques and how they can help calm you down, as well as have a lot of other health benefits like lowering blood pressure without medication, helping anxiety attacks without medication, and that's always the goal. So I usually talk about Wim Hof's breathing method, but that takes a little bit longer to do and to really get into it and feel it effective. Hi, baby. You will need to practice it for longer than 10 minutes. So this breathing exercise I found on a TED Talk The man that gave it, his name was Max Storm. And so we're going to start today with this exercise. So they want us to sit up straight, and you're going to go ahead, that you don't want to sit by the back of your chair. So sit up straight and don't touch the back of your chair. Touch your ribs, because this is where we're going to be filling our lungs from. I'm not sure if you're kind of able to see my ribs. For women, it would be around where your bra line would be. And it would be like your, let's see, if you're going from the bottom, like about fifth intercostal rib. No, that's not right, but around there. Okay, so you're going to feel your ribs. So put hands on your ribs, because we're going to use that just as a tool. You don't have to do that all the time, but this is a great breathing exercise. I've done it sometimes at night when I wake up, and it does help me go back to sleep faster when I have insomnia. So you're going to breathe in, and you want to breathe in with bringing your ribs out to the side. So you want to go, and then, so this is gonna be called the 4-7-8 breathing method. So you're gonna breathe in for 4 seconds, and you want to expand in that rib section. We're gonna hold it for 7 seconds, and then exhale slowly for 8 seconds, and then we're gonna do it again. So let's practice a few times. So feel that area if you need to. So take in a breath for 4 seconds. So that was the first time. So you're going to breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And let go slowly over 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And with these different breathing techniques, it's very important where for a lot, if anyone's done yoga, you usually breathe in your stomach. For Wim Hof's breathing techniques, he goes from his stomach to his chest. For this breathing technique, it's trying to bring your ribs out. So we're gonna do. So again, that's it. We're gonna inhale for 4 seconds, hold it for 7, and then exhale for 8. So let's do 4 of these to get the session started. So inhale. So that was just 3 of them. And if I attached the TED Talk that Max Storm does, I attached it in the video if you want to watch the full TED Talk. It's actually quite interesting. This is something that they actually teach to military personnel in the US to get them to be able to relax if they're feeling stressed and not have a panic attack or like a PTSD episode. So well, there's many things that can help us during trying to recover or working through things or just venting. It's great to start with these breathing exercises. They don't take too much time. This one in particular, You don't have to do a lot of them to feel really relaxed. Some people do about 5 minutes. We could definitely start with 5 minutes. And other people, they um, will, feel a lot better after 30 seconds. So it's all about you. And you just want to see how you're feeling. And I do recommend as well just trying any type of breathing exercises, and I'll be going over those in other videos. And I included one of my favorite breathing exercise teachers who kind of brought me after Bikram yoga to breathing exercises, which is Wim Hof. Wim Hof, if you haven't heard of him, I actually heard of him through Columbia commercials a long time ago, where they had really warm coats. I think it was in like 2014 or 2013, and they had Wim running in the snow naked. Well, he had like little like Speedo on, but they said Wim Hof can survive or can run a marathon in shorts and below freezing weather, but you are not Wim Hof and you need this coat. And I actually bought the coat and I looked into him, and that's how I found out about who he is. But so it's the holidays, and not only is the weather changing and it's getting dark out earlier, but a lot of people have a lot of issues around the holidays. I actually brought I've been cleaning. So I decided to clean. I try to clean a few times a year because after my grandparents died, I learned just how much clutter can kind of pile up over a lifetime. So I try to clean as much as I can. And so one thing I noticed was I kept cards, a lot of them. And these are one thing I do miss about the holidays. These were so, at the time, I didn't appreciate them. But now that we just have emails, and I don't find them very personal, it was so nice to get like a beautiful card from somebody, and hopefully they didn't just sign their name, but like this one's really cool. It has like two little wooden dinosaurs. This one, I don't know, I think it's from the church. Postcards. Do you guys remember these? I used to collect them. I loved postcards as a kid. And so it made me happy to see these, but I probably won't be keeping them for much longer because it's not like I'm going to just be like staring at postcards. Then people did these for a while. I did one of these cards once because it was free through Shutterfly, but these are cute. They're a little bit less personal because, I mean, you can tell it's mass printed, but it's still something that someone took time to like send in the mail and you got to go get it. And then just, the actual individual cards. Some of them were beautiful. This one, I think is from, my aunt and her lovely handwriting down here. Practice your handwriting, guys. So yeah, the cards, it was just nice to open, like have a physical card to open. Whereas, so somebody actually went to a store, took thought of you, went to a store and purchased a card. Whereas it's so impersonal to just send, I don't know, like a birthday message over Facebook or even like an emoji. To me, I really don't like the online culture. Well, at least what it's become. I really enjoyed it at first. I liked Facebook, and MySpace. But at this point, it's more of an advertise. It's great because you can advertise, which you couldn't really do before. And now, yeah, I don't know what exactly happened. So it's become like a replacement for for our interactions, and there's nothing that can replace actual human interaction. Now, humans have evolved to be what we are over millions of years, and our brains have evolved. We are pack animals, if you'd like to say. That is how humans were able to survive through conditions, through and outrun animals, was because we were social. There's always been hierarchies. Jordan Peterson mentions hierarchies in his in his book 12 Rules for Life. His first chapter is about defeated lobsters and the neurology of lobsters, because our neurons are very similar to those of lobsters. Lobsters were here before dinosaurs, and lobsters are affected by losing a fight. And if they lose one fight, and even if they fight a opponent that they've fought before, they're much more likely to lose that fight as well. So basically, once a lobster is low on serotonin and feels down, they will continue to feel down. So this really shows that there is a part in human anatomy or human evolution that when we have suffered a defeat, whatever it may be, in sports, in the work arena, in a relationship, it can really affect us, and we can take that to the next situation. So say you didn't get a raise you wanted at a job, and you decided to go to the next job. But if you don't resolve those issues that you had at the first job, chances are you're going to bring them to the next job. Which is why I wish that earlier in life, I maybe didn't feel, well, I kind of just pushed on. Sometimes I felt a little bad for myself, but there was a great philosopher who said the now I can't remember. I believe it was something around like the unevaluated life is not worth living. So I encourage my son and people I know to evaluate their day, not just their life, but their day every day, because you remember it best at the end of the day. Keeping a journal is going to help you in that regard. And whether the day went well or the day went bad, there's a lesson in that day. If the day went well and you figure out why it went well, you're much more likely to repeat the good day. If the day went poorly and you can map it back to where the error might have started, whether it was on your part or somebody else's part, and how you could handle that better, it's much more likely that in the future, if this situation happens, you'll be prepared, and you won't have to run into these situations. Because a lot of people, including myself, have tended to get stuck in ruts where you're doing the same thing over and over for a prolonged time, and it's like, why why do I keep acting this way or doing something? For example, at my job, I was the person who was usually taking on extra work because, first of all, everybody else, I know I could do it better than them. I'm not bragging, but like a lot of people just at psych jobs in general are known to be lazy, and that was told to us in orientation when I first started at my job. It breeds lazy people. The job attracts lazy people. So sometimes I would just write extra notes on a patient. This was really to safeguard myself and the people I worked with as a nurse. Lots of nurses are being sued, hence, there's not a nurse shortage. It's just nurses don't want to work when they go into work every day, not having the backup of, other nurses, and they might get sued and lose everything they have. It's not a very good work environment. But had I maybe looked at what I was doing and thought, taking on extra work is just going to show these people that they can keep throwing more and more and more and more work at me, which is what happened until I pretty much had a mental breakdown after working 3 16s in a row and having 3 other jobs and going to school full time. You need sleep. So people sometimes think that it is selfish to take care of yourself. But if you don't take care of yourself, nobody else can take care of you the way you can. So what I want to talk about as well in my videos is taking care of ourselves, making sure every morning you wake up and you are in the best mood you can be in to set the day up good. And at night that you're going to bed, hopefully on a relatively consistent schedule, and that you're going to bed relaxed. These are both very important. So the breathing exercises is excellent. Billy Carson and now I don't want to call the woman. He has a girlfriend named Liz. Her name is Lis. I don't know her. I can't think of her last name, but they both have an excellent channel about pressure points and how you can relax yourself. And she calls them. So this woman Liz, I'm not sure how she pronounces it, calls them biohacks. That's a great channel, and Billy Carson is a wealth of knowledge. And it's just very important to take care of yourself, especially in today's society where society is not necessarily built at all for the way our lives are supposed to be. Which brings me to what I wanted to kind of talk about today. The holidays become a hard time for people, not only because the seasons change and our circadian rhythm is affected by this, but also because people often have bad feelings with families. Something bad might have happened during the holidays. Maybe you remember your last holiday with a grandpa, a grandma, or a mom, and it reminds you of that. Or someone just for some reason acts out every holiday for no reason and criticizes everybody. Or maybe someone is dating a pervert. Like a lot of people have the family pervert that they ignore. So there's a lot of things that people often have during holidays that even once you're past that in life, it can really, your brain doesn't forget it. And PTSD is when an event occurs, like the holidays, for example, and your brain is remembering and trying to protect itself from whatever bad thing happened in the past. The brain cannot detect the difference between emotional pain and physical pain. So, although I'm more used to having physical pain, and for a while I didn't understand people that had emotional pain because I'm like, well, you're not physically hurting, but physical pain and emotional pain are the same in the brain. They have the same neurotransmitters and they feel the same. If you think of a breakup with the person you love the most, or, I hate to bring up death, but the death of someone that you are very close to, I think that death brings people to a better place, and we're going to miss the person, but they themselves will be in a much better place than this earth and this world, and the soul never dies. Um, a lot of people don't share that with me, and that's fine because everybody has their own experiences. So, my point is, you can remember this during the holidays, and it can bring up like triggers and feelings as almost as if these emotions happened yesterday, especially if you did not deal with them. Which is why it's very important to have a person in your life. It's better for it not to be a friend, a family member, or someone that's directly involved with your life or people around you. A lot of people don't feel comfortable with therapists. A lot of people will talk to their nail technician. A lot of people will talk to their hair technician. A lot of people will talk to their Uber drivers. So it just kind of all depends. But whoever you feel comfortable talking to, I offer these services, and I offer a month free of 1 week, 1 hour a week, talking over Zoom to make sure that we're a good fit, because it takes time to build trust, and it also takes time to ensure that we're a good fit. And I don't want to charge you for anything that like you wouldn't want to pursue. So I also I can help people with the breathing exercises. I myself have been practicing Wim Hof's breathing exercises and have gotten a lot better at them. And I have a lot of life experiences that I'm completely willing to share if it would help somebody else. And I also encourage people, even if you don't like religion, there are churches where people are genuinely friendly. I recently went to a church mostly because I was looking for moral children that were good playmates for my son, and I found a church, surprise, and I was really taken aback by how sincere everybody was. It almost felt like I went back in time, because since COVID, people have really not, no one touches you. I mean, or if they do, it's very rare. Um, COVID put so much fear in so many people, and that was intentional. Um, and it was fear of other humans, which is particularly bad because, as I mentioned, we need each other. Humans cannot survive alone, although it is good to learn skills to live alone. There's very few people who are completely self-sustainable. I do want to talk in another video about trying to be self-sustainable, because it does give you a sense of independence and just complete power over your own life. The government actually hates it when you're self-sustaining, and I've seen them ruin many people's self-sustaining livelihoods, even though they weren't doing anything illegal. So that's a shame. It's almost as if they want us to depend on them, especially with the food shortages coming up. But just having, for example, learning to plant, teaching your children to plant, interacting with the earth is very therapeutic. And for people that are dealing with addictions, for people that any type of addictions, when people say addictions, a lot of times people think of drugs. Now I mostly think of addictions more so. The worst addiction is being addicted to screen time. Many children do not know how to make eye contact, not only due to COVID, but due to being raised on screens. Now, I know it's so much easier to give your child a game like Minecraft on a phone and let them play than to take time out of your day and sit down and say, hey, today we're going to paint, or today we're going to make, I don't know, we're going to make shirts. Like, people used to make tie-dye shirts and stuff. And a lot of the local libraries in the US have amazing things to do for free. My library has an anything emporium where they have so much cool stuff. It makes homeschooling really easy. They have an art and easel set. They had like a robot set. They have they have how to code, which again is screen time, but I feel like it's better screen time. They have all types of puzzles. They have all types, just so many learning activities. And it is really important to get your child to start reading. The reason being is in the future, we might not have physical books at all. So holding a physical book in and of itself might be historic. But also the love for reading is going to be the love of knowledge. Right now they might like to read Captain Underpants and so on and so forth, but eventually they will wander into a section one day with knowledge in it. And I'm not saying read and believe every single book that you pick up, but it is great to educate yourself. I debated between making this channel and a channel regarding teaching children and adults like the U.S. Constitution and the laws. But I had so much trouble finding the actual laws, not only of the country, but of my town, that I decided I would start first with this therapeutic channel. But at the same time, it is very important to keep yourself and your children. Don't scare the hell out of them. But it is important that your children know a little bit of what's going on politically. And now that we have access to YouTube where people can videotape from the source, we have many different sightings instead of just whatever the one news channel or two news channels that are all owned by Disney are telling us. So that's a positive. What I wanted to talk about today a little bit was making a negative versus positive list. So this can help you in pretty much any and every situation. So lately I've been writing stuff down a lot because I've been tired and I just can't remember much. So if you're having difficulty organizing your time due to ADHD or insomnia or whatever, it's really good. Wake up, write your day, write the goals you'd like to get done or that you need to get done today. Some of the smaller goals, write the hopeful goals of the future, and I'm trying to teach my son to do this. Teach your kids to do these things early. Do not baby your kids. Teach them to be as independent as possible. Americans are losing because we are losing all of our skills. Most Americans cannot sew. And I'm not talking about sew a whole shirt. I'm talking about people don't know how to fix a tiny hole in a shirt. That's a shame. Many people, women can't even fix a simple clogged pipe. Take the pipe out and put it back in. And this is sad when there's so many videos on. I'm not saying do the whole plumbing in your house, of course not. But there's a lot of things that you can look up online. So, what I'm going to do is you can make I don't know if you guys have seen, but our vice president loves to talk about Venn diagrams, and she always describes them incorrectly. A Venn diagram was like this. I don't know. This woman thinks that this is like a really funny joke. Kamala Harris, she's such an embarrassment. So, I don't think I have anyone watching any of my videos. That's okay. Venn diagram looks like this. So you can write positive. You can write negative. And then in the between is stuff that kind of overlap. Maybe they're a little bit positive, negative, or neither. So I would say positives of the internet is we have more information. So, for example, before I wouldn't have known how to replace pipes under my sink. Now I do because I watched a video on YouTube. So you can learn almost anything. You can learn lots of small or large, I don't know, tasks. You can make recipes. That's another thing is a lot of people have no idea how to cook. This is sad because there's like absolutely no excuse. If you can read, you can cook because you can follow a recipe. But now, or one step further, if you can look at a computer and follow what the person's doing, you should be able to cook. So that's very important. So that the internet is great for those things. Bad things about the internet would be it does tend to, there's so much social media and people like to use different platforms that it's a time waster. I'm just going to put that, time waster. When I try to check my emails, I have a lot of spam. Sometimes it's hard to even find the emails you need. And then sometimes something might look interesting, like, hey, this was said in this app or whatever, and you want to click on it. And then the next thing you know, you haven't gotten to one important email and you've been on the computer for 2 hours, which is also why I like to kind of wake up. So I don't do this every day, but if I can, wake up, time you woke up, time you start an activity, and how much time it really should take you. And kind of if you start doing these extra things, write them down so you can see how much time you're wasting. Sending stupid videos on the internet. So not all videos are stupid. A lot of people have made a lot of money. I'm not knocking that. But another bad thing I would put well, I'm going to put the money in the middle because it's good and bad. It's great in the fact that you're making money, but it's bad in that a lot of people have resorted to, you know, they think they can make a lot of money on OnlyFans, and people forget that that's going to be online forever. Um, that's another negative. So it's on. Okay, once it's online forever. Online forever is a negative. I can't imagine my entire life as a child being put online and like still up there. This just horrible. I feel really bad for kids that have to grow up with this. So what I'm going to put in the middle is money, because I think a lot of young girls are lured into thinking their sexuality is all they have. Even a lot of artists that do have amazing voices and talent and can dance still feel that they have to show up naked at awards shows. Yeah, they're beautiful. They have beautiful bodies. I don't have anything against the naked body. I'm a nurse. I've seen millions of naked bodies. But we don't need. The thing is, a lot of young, and once again, this is not the celebrities' problem, but the parents' problem. Britney Spears said it well in an interview with Diane Sawyer a long time ago, when Diane Sawyer said to her, "What about all the little girls that look up to you?" And I'm not that innocent. First of all, Diane Sawyer should have been ashamed of herself attacking a child. Second of all, Diane Sawyer, well, what Britney Spears said was the correct answer was, "I'm not the babysitter." Why would you expect a kid that came out of Mickey Mouse Club and this wasn't really her, like, I mean, you can say the kid loves doing it, but you can tell from her mental state now that she has been programmed into having to do this. And now you have a lot of kids. YouTube is unregulated, and you have these family channels that work their kids to death. In Hollywood, at least they have minimal like protection so that the kids' money doesn't get taken by their parents. That doesn't happen in family channels. YouTube doesn't really have much regulation at all. So as far as family channels, Instagram, TikTok, all of that, I mean, some of these families really do put the kids' whole life up, and they're making money off of these kids. And I hate to say it, but it seems like they have kids just to make money. So that is a very bad one. So I'm putting family channels, but then I'm going to also put, like, there's no checks or balances, which means you don't know when. A lot of times, for example, take a big influencer, Jake Paul. He used to basically make commercials. His entire videos would be plugging his merch. Good for him, but the kids don't. I mean, they have minimal kids advertising, and I believe they made that in the 1990s, and it was made for a reason, because kids' brains don't understand they're being sold to. Some kids' brains do. And I remember as a kid thinking, like, why would I buy this stuff? Like, just because someone was telling me. But the thing is, the repetition is what gets to you. After a while, as an adult, I thought I needed, makeup or this or that to fit in, because I didn't feel like I was fitting in. So, and with our phones, we're seeing it constantly. It's constantly in our hand. It's not like a TV where it's stuck at home. It's there all the time. So that's another bad thing, all the time. And that goes for work too, where I have, met patients where the wife eventually divorces the husband or the other way around because my mom herself, people used to email all night, 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. So it used to be that you go to work, you go into the office, and then you come home and you leave. I once had my boss call my emergency contact not because I was late, not because anything happened, but because I didn't answer my phone on the first call when she wanted to say good morning. So my mom thought something was wrong and she rushed over to my house. She could have gotten in an accident. She woke me up and scared the hell out of me because I was ready to have a nice day to sleep in. And then I was like, did I sleep late? No, people just expect that they can get a hold of you at all times because you should have that phone on you, right? So people expect constant access to you. I went to the Amazon for a while, and I was gone about 3 months. For some of it, I was volunteering, and then some of it, I stayed in the Amazon. But I didn't have a phone at all the whole time. And I usually don't bring phones on vacation. And I do this on purpose because it's just a mental break. I once tried making travel videos, and I realized how much it made me not enjoy traveling because you're not in the moment. So that's another thing I'm going to put. But I mean, this isn't I don't know if okay, so just put not in the moment. When you're constantly taking pictures, I mean, unless you really are someone that enjoys photography, which I have always loved photography. Even as a child, I have like a million scrapbooks. But I highly doubt that most of these people just absolutely love videography and photography. And even I remember I thought it was strange when like video cameras were a really big thing and people would just carry them around, and I'm thinking, who's gonna look at those? I think we have only a total of 5 family videos. I had 6, but my car was broken into by someone who I don't know who it was. Anyways, it could have been a narcissistic abuser, but I have no proof. So when I recently got these movies digitized after my grandfather died, and his mom was in it. And at first, everyone was happy, like, "Oh yeah, that's going to be so amazing! I can't wait to see it." But it took so long from the company that digitized it that no one ever actually saw it. And so, therefore, I don't want to say it was a waste, but it kind of was a waste. So, anyways, a waste because it was costly. I mean, I liked looking at them. I honestly, though, I didn't even watch the whole thing, and it was cool. One was my grandpa's 70th birthday party, which was supposed to be a surprise, and he was the first person there, so that was pretty funny. I think I have him actually on one of my channels. But yeah, I think that it takes away the moments. And watching anything on TV is not the same as being there. So I don't know. I just find it so odd when people constantly walking around with they're just like videoing everything. I like to take videos, and they're especially important if you're running a business or if you want to pursue a YouTube channel like this. the other thing that I would say is a negative is privacy used to be very valued. It is no longer valued. And that's really weird to me. So I'm going to put on here negative. People are told, and people know there's no privacy, and people are fine with zero privacy. And the thing that means, the problem there is not just the privacy, but hold on one moment. I'm trying to get my other channel to work, and it's not wanting my channel on YouTube to work. I have one that I've had for a while, for years, and it doesn't want to work at all. So let's see. Live. Can I make one? No. I don't know. So I don't know why this isn't working. Anyways, sorry. So people are beyond not caring about their privacy. They want to monetize every minute of their life. I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people do. I've seen this weird trend where people are on Twitch and they film themselves sleeping. And at first, I kind of was like, hey, if people are going to pay to watch me sleep, like, but then I realized how perverted it was. That's a case of, what did they call it? They used to have a term in psychology, but I guess people are so used to it now. It's not coming to me. And it's really bothering me now. But it's when someone like just watches another person. I mean, not in a perverted way or not in a bad way, but like they're just voyeurism, it's called. It's when the person is just watching the other person, and we're just watching other people's lives. So, anyways, okay, so I'm just going to reintroduce because I'm starting my video. I'm going to start a video on my other YouTube channel. So right now I'm talking about I've made a Venn diagram. Kamala Harris's favorite thing to do. She always makes jokes about them. I'm not sure why she thinks it's a great joke, but I made one today, and she doesn't even know how to explain it. She calls it 3 circles. I guess technically, if you want to call that a circle in the middle, there's 3 circles. But I wasn't able to get a live stream going for my main channel, and I wanted people to discover that I'm doing this now. So we're going over the positives and negatives of social media and why a social media break can be great for you. So, especially for your mental health. So far I have the positives is you can learn lots of things. And that I think is a big positive, but the negatives I have is it's a giant time waster. You have these family channels that have no guidelines, no checks, no balances, no money, put aside for anybody, any of the kids. And you are expected to like be online all the time and available to anyone who wants to reach you, your boss. People almost compete at a lot of work offices where, like, if one person emails at 2:00, then they want to see how fast other people can get back. This adds to bad sleep cycles. I put that so you're working constantly. There's not a separate work and then a separate home, which is very important. I also put that you're not in the moment pretty much ever when you're constantly recording. Of course, when you go somewhere, you want to take pictures, but like when you're just walking around, okay, or maybe you did your hair and you want to take a picture. But I mean, if you're not really into photography, I feel like you're missing missing out on the actual life around us, being on the phone all the time. And then the fact that people are okay with zero privacy. And this is what I really wanted to touch on. When Edward Snowden came out with the fact that the US government was spying on us, people's response was kind of odd. At one time, people would have been outraged that the government was spying on its own people. But this time, people were like, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, who cares? And that is an alert because you don't know what's anything wrong to the government. You don't know what they're flagging. I mentioned a little earlier that it is very hard to you never learn the laws in school. I've heard people make the argument that, well, you learn morals in school, but morals in the law, other than a few of them, like don't steal, don't kill, don't attack people, don't rob people, so on and so forth, mostly violent rules, those are morals. But there's a ton of laws that are like just not there for much of anything but to make, charge people with not charge people with like criminal offenses, but civil offenses that they can pay them for. For example, a lot of people have lost their house due to their grass being too long. I myself was fined $10,000 while I was in the hospital for my grass being too long, despite providing receipts that I had a company coming to mow my grass once a week. Anyways, especially if the town decides to charge you interest, I've heard of elderly people losing their house, like when they broke a hip or something. It's just, and that's not moral. That's the opposite of moral. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So, you don't know what is right and wrong, really, as far as privacy. Also, with the privacy thing is there's a lot of scams. A lot of people fall for them. I myself haven't given my information to a scam, but several times, somehow or another, someone has I've downloaded either, I don't know, through a game or something got into my phone and charged lots of stuff on my Amazon card, charged a lot of stuff on debit cards. Like Gmail asks you, do you want to save? And sometimes you don't even remember putting yes, and it'll save things. So I would say privacy is very important. Also, the way, government is now treating certain political views as harmful, I would say you definitely want to protect your privacy, because at one time I was very, very radically liberal. Now my same views are conservative. So you don't know when your views are going to suddenly creep into the other side and become not what society thinks. I've always been against female genital mutilation and male genital mutilation, which is circumcision. I'm against circumcision because kids have been harmed. It's not always done right. And it can be, depending on the baby, it can be very, they don't know why they're being hurt. You're like, oh, they don't remember, but it doesn't matter if they don't remember. So I'm against any type of genital mutilation. And now we are just slicing off breasts and stuff right and left. When children can't consent to anything else, and you think that they know if they want their breasts. I am completely for doing whatever you want when you're 18, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. But even at 18, you don't necessarily understand, which is why you don't drink until you're 21. At 18, you don't necessarily understand certain things. When I was an undergrad at, doing my biology degree, I was totally believing every single thing about vaccines. It was just drilled into my head. In fact, I wanted to get every vaccine that there was. It sounded so good. I later found out how polio vaccine was made, and I was disgusted. And I thought, how is this allowed? And it brought a lot of questions up. I also questioned when I was in nursing school. So my undergrad was in biology. I got my master's in nursing. And when we were doing prenatal, I saw in the first 6 minutes of life that hepatitis B was given. Now, we got hepatitis B in 5th grade in the 90s. So they told us at that time that it was for water bottles. And I was that, like, if you share a water bottle, you could get it, or it was like a kissing germ, which is a far stretch. You'd have to have like canker sores or something, both of you. So, anyways, my video has ended. It looks like. Why? Wait, share. So my video ended on what's it called? Excuse me. Sorry, my video ended on. Man, I probably should go to sleep, but Instagram. So I do have a few more points I wanted to make. So I'm going to make a part 2 live. Okay. So, or it could just be my internet. Okay, part 2. So part 2, I'm going to continue talking. I was talking about vaccines. When I was in nursing school and I asked why babies got hepatitis B in the first 6 minutes of life, I was told it was none of my business, and if I asked that question again, that I would get kicked out of nursing school. So that's a great answer. I wanted to make sure that my son did not get a hepatitis B. At the time, once again, I thought hepatitis B was completely harmless. Since I worked in psych, and prior to that, I had I did whatever job I could find during college and in grad school. I just did I worked in a hotel cleaning. So anytime you clean, especially like a hotel room, you have to they suggest you get hepatitis B. Over my 10 years as a nurse, between flu shots, hepatitis B and stuff, I probably got at least 20 to 25 shots. And after I was when I was pregnant, I was told in undergrad that it is literally impossible to get sick from any vaccine, especially the flu vaccine, because a lot of people claim that they feel sick after the flu vaccine. And I believe them because they said the vaccines were attenuated, meaning the virus was killed or that it was frozen. And so I believed my teacher. My teacher was very smart, and I'm sure she believed this as well. When I was pregnant, I was given vaccines with I was told I had a high-risk pregnancy, and I continued with the pregnancy anyways, not thinking it was that high risk or that I'd have a stroke. And the nurses started doing the strangest thing, which was like this was in Chicago, mind you, this at a very good, I'm not going to name the hospital, but it was at a very good hospital, supposed to be the 8th best in the country, competing with Johns Hopkins, if that kind of gives anybody a I guess idea. But anyways, these nurses started doing this like whip around vaccine thing where they wouldn't tell me that I was getting the vaccine or give me anything, and they would like be standing here at the desk doing something, pretending to type. Then they'd whip around and shoot a vaccine in my arm. Now this time I wasn't against vaccines. I just would have liked to know that I was getting it. And I kept being told, well, you had to get it for your child, but it's like, okay, that's fine. I might wanted to try to schedule it a different day, maybe not when I have 16 hours of work the next day, but I got this was the first time I ever got really sick from a vaccine. I got really sick from the whooping cough vaccine that year. I got, because you have to get whooping cough when you're pregnant. I got really sick from the flu vaccine. Like I could not get out of bed. So there was no way you could tell me these vaccines weren't making me sick. Then they also did the same thing with the RH factor. I won't get into the biology of why for your first baby you do not need an RH factor unless they're expecting me to get pregnant immediately when I'm home. But I'll leave that for another time. But they also whipped around and gave me that vaccine without telling me to. And by that time the baby was out, so I thought I should have full autonomy over my body, and I did not. Anyways, so misinformation on the internet is being taken down currently. So misinformation, another thing, is one kind of like falls under I guess privacy, because what is a law one year and what's good one year might be bad the next, and what is misinformation one year or considered a conspiracy theory turns out to be the truth like the next year. Not always, but very often. Especially the government does this with when they release documents. So anyways, getting back to the internet, I wanted to talk about the positives and negatives. So I have a lot of negatives right now. I have money in the middle because it can be made well and it can be made poorly. But there are a lot of positives. One positive is you can learn pretty much anything that you want. Anything you want to learn how to do, you can learn how to do it. And you can find out a lot of information. Another great thing is the ability to freely, advertise online, and also read reviews, which it seems more often like I'm wondering if people are paying some of these places to take down negative reviews, but I won't get into that today. But it's great for businesses, like small businesses especially, to have a great website. So if you want to advertise online, it is now so easy and everybody's on it. It does sometimes, it took me a while to learn about hashtags, but once I learned about them on Instagram, they really started helping me. And I don't really trust TikTok because Chinese government doesn't let their own people use it, and they do get all your information in your phone. So I would put that as a negative. Chinese government, which could one day overtake us, um, takes your information and won't let their own people use it. But people have become famous on TikTok that would probably never become famous otherwise. Before, there was this gatekeeper of who could become famous. And now the thing that I love about the internet is you can find music, you can find dancers you like, you can find really talented, just everything. Different sports. I love sports personally. You can find events around your town. You don't have to get like a damn newspaper. Um, so the spread of information, if use the internet, I don't want to say right, but if you use it um, to your benefit, people can make a lot of money, and used to make more. People used to be able to make more money. I remember when my friend first told me that her sister made money, like teaching makeup lessons on YouTube, and I was like, how? And at that time, they were actually paying a lot. And I just was, I guess, being an old lady, I've always been kind of behind with technology, but they were paying a lot. And so I think it's kind of cool now that people are able to, yes, some of these social media companies do push forward certain people. TikTok especially pushes you forward based on your facial symmetry, excuse me, which I would get like none because my face is not symmetrical at all. But there's so many ways you can make videos online. There's so many ways you can easily reach people. People from different cultures have reached each other, and these are all amazing things. But at the same time, there is a bad part. Some of the American culture, I'm saying some, but like it was probably some back in like the early 2000s. Now a lot of the American culture is very toxic, and it's spread to other countries where they are like, we just, what the hell is this? I know. Well, I forgot what I was gonna say, but it was something about our LGBTQ thing. That goes. A lot of countries are very religious, or very Catholic, very Muslim, very Jewish, and they don't want like the. I mean, they've hung these flags at the embassy, which I personally, I just don't think it belongs there. Why? Uh, and so, in that way, the American culture has spread, and I think it's taken over some other cultures, which isn't great. But another good thing is it also helps us keep in touch with loved ones that may not be able to get out, or in like, for example, I mentioned that it's not the same seeing someone over the screen as it is in person, but it's still really cool to, like, I never thought that this would happen, and honestly in my lifetime, like talking through a screen on a phone. It's really interesting. It's better than just talking to them. I think it's really nice to be able to see the person. It almost feels like you're there. So I mean, it has its positive and its negatives. I think the negatives come when people just decide that they need to use this function all the time. But it's great when you have relatives far, far away and you miss them and you can connect with them. In Illinois, we still have Zoom court, which for a lot of people has made them not have to go to jail because for one reason or another they couldn't get transportation. So right there I listed a lot of positives. So my positive negative list, I didn't list I stopped kind of writing halfway through, but this is a great way to do anything. And then when you keep this list, you can look at the positives and say, okay, I want to stay in this side. I want to stay in the positive side and trying to avoid these parts. And you can definitely do that especially when you see it in front of you. So that's something you can use. That's a tool that you can use. So today we talked about earlier the breathing techniques. I haven't really talked about complete seasonal affective disorder, but I have made a nice little chart about being online. Oh, you know what else I'm going to put for a positive is when it's frigid out. For example, like it is in Chicago and it gets dark at 5 o'clock. There are good shows that you can, like I said, you can cook cool stuff that maybe you didn't cook. I have found like other libraries that host different events that my son has gone to. So it's really, the internet's great for when like you're, winter. I'm just going to put winter because when you can't go outside, it doesn't really leave you with a ton of stuff to do. And they have the workouts online are great and free. Free is a big one. Remember when you had to pay for cable? That sucks. So it's also, I mentioned artists can get out, but so there's a lot of, the one I would put in the middle again is just money. I think a lot of women think that they have to like show their body, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they might not realize that they're more than just their body, that you can talk, that you can learn. And I think we have also been dumbed down by just staring at asses all day. There's nothing wrong with admiring a nice butt, but when you are again wasting time, which is my first thing on the negative side, I just it can ruin relationships. That's another one is people in relationships. I actually try to keep my phone off when I'm in a relationship, just because you get emails, you hear your partner's phone like dinging, dinging, dinging. It might be something innocent like an email, and it might not though. It makes cheating a lot easier, unfortunately, and that's like kind of disgusting. And some of these women, I don't want to blame the women because the man is married, but the woman will know the man's married, and she's like going for it. It's also made like groups where they're calling now MAPS, which means minor attracted person. It has brought these fools together to think they're a legitimate, I'm going to vomit. So it's brought some bad groups together, but it's also brought some really good groups together. There's support groups that maybe you couldn't otherwise reach. So those are some great things about online. Let's talk about seasonal depression. Okay, so what's seasonal affective disorder? We have circadian rhythms that are taken care of in the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is a little gland in your brain about the size of a pea that controls every single hormone that is made in the body. If you get a tumor on it, you'll have a lot of problems. And that's what I have. So, which is why I have chosen to attempt some of my other hobbies and tried to make them jobs and kind of smush them together. Um, because, so back to the circadian rhythm. Your circadian rhythm is modified by melatonin, but also by the amount of sun you get. When your state that for some reason still does time change, and it's dark by like 4:30 in the evening. My dog is even confused. Your body will get confused, and a lot of times this causes depression in people. Um, and you, it might be short depression. It might be for a while. Sometimes people just have to get out of the country or go somewhere warmer for a little while. I know a lot of nurses that got into nursing so they could do travel nursing and like go to Arizona in the winter, because I don't know how people in Alaska make it, honestly, when they have those 24 hours of darkness. That would make me crazy. Um, and it's proven that when you get more light, people usually lose weight, and because they're normally, once again, back to your body being evolved over millions of years. Normally, winter was when it was hard to find food. So your metabolism might slow down, hence slight depression or sleeping more, kind of like hibernating. Um, and so the sun really regulates your circadian rhythm. Tanning beds do help. And if you're in a tanning bed for 5 minutes, do not let people tell you. I, as a redhead, will know that 5 minutes in a tanning bed, which I used to do every single day, will help your depression. It'll make you feel better. It'll make you look better. And I do not have any signs of skin cancer. Now, other problems are a different thing. And you also get vitamin D. Taking vitamin D is not the same as like getting it from the sun. Of course, tanning booth isn't as good, but it's better than nothing. Um, I'm not saying you have to stay in the minimum of 5 minutes, but it is good to get some sun. Uh, these pharmaceutical companies, they like to sell you a lot of things and put SPF in everything, and that's not healthy. Humans have lived in the sun for years, and there's nothing wrong with that. So getting sun is definitely good for your mood. If you don't have sun, I know they have like lights for seasonal affective disorder. I never personally used one. I used one for acne that was similar, that my dermatologist paid for, because I used to get really bad acne in the winter. I didn't feel it did much, but the tanning booth definitely helped. And it felt like a warm beach. Like I could just imagine I'm on a beach. So those are some ways to help. Now, one of the harder ways to deal with things is if you're alone during the holidays. A lot of families have really grown apart during COVID. What I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to dedicate another video to it, is I looked it up today, and I looked up, has COVID changed people's personality? And there was I think two or maybe three very lighthearted news channels that said, oh, it's the youth that got affected the most, but it just shows that our brains are malleable. No, that's not what it is at all. when I heard that we were going to be in isolation for 3 weeks, I thought, oh my God, this is going to cause a huge problem in mental health. We don't have enough hospitals in Chicago as it is, and these kids are going to have problems because developmentally, especially, not even just developmentally, as you get older, you can be alone a lot more. You learn to read, you learn to do stuff by yourself. But when you're younger as a child, you really need that interaction between other kids. Screen time just does not count. You can't play like imaginary games through the phone. And COVID was not just 3 weeks, it was like almost 2 years. And I've really noticed that people have acted a lot different. I noticed people started acting differently in 2016 after the Donald Trump election. Not that I have a problem with him either way, really. But that's when politics became divisive. At one time, you would support whoever was in office because you don't want to tear your own country apart. And I think that might be the underlying feeling of what a lot of people are experiencing, is that that I just realized that my other computer wasn't. I thought it was recording this whole time, and I hadn't. I just didn't do anything. So okay. So, anyways, like I was saying, people need human interaction when I believe that United. I don't know if it's one of the world's like international something about they have torture rules for places around the world on how you can treat prisoners, and I'm not sure how United States gets away with this because I think they say it's the only thing they can do, but putting anybody in segregation is cruel and unusual punishment. You might not have any physical signs of being beat or physically tortured, but as I mentioned early, the body can't tell the difference between mental pain and physical pain. And even a small amount of time in a segregated area will drive people crazy. A lot of people can't even be in a jail cell for like a few minutes because they're in a cage. Humans are not meant to be in cages. What would the solution be? Ensure that children are growing up correctly in the first place. That's what I would think. But, there's a lot of differing opinions on that. So, COVID. Families got weird after COVID because they were isolated. They got used to this isolation and they were scared into it. I still have family members that are like scared if somebody coughs. I've still seen people wearing masks by themselves in their car. So a lot of families are just not seeing each other. That alone on the holidays, like it not being really special because nobody else is coming over any days. I read a story that somebody did like a Friendsgiving. So instead of having family over, they had friends over, and she made a big platter, and nobody came still. So no family or no friends, which is really depressing. One of my first videos was about not really having any friends, and that's not the truth. I have two good friends, maybe three or four. Well, two friends that I would say I talk to a few times a year. Like, so I would say if you talk to someone every 2 months, at this point in life where things are pretty busy, that would, to me, count as a good friend. But some people, just like younger people, which is what's scary, are saying they just have no friends. And that is just terrible for development. And I blame a lot of it on computers. And yeah, just computers. In the 90s, it was all about sports. Like everybody was in sports. And I mean, that wasn't the greatest thing, but it got people active, and it got them involved in a team. Feeling part of a team is a part of development. It teaches you more than just like how to run or how to jump over a beam or how to throw a football. It teaches you dedication. It teaches you getting up early. It teaches you so many skills that are vital for life. And you don't learn a lot of these skills in the virtual world. You just don't. So I got a little off track from the families, but how can we deal with being alone on the holidays? I would say what I've found solace in is great books or authors that I like. I love Audible. Some libraries have a thing called Libby, and it's the same thing as audiobooks. I try to listen to audiobooks every day, and if I can, listen to the whole thing if it's not too long. Even if they're not an audiobook genre I like per se, sometimes listening to the book can help me understand other people and how they think, and that's very helpful in and of itself. Um, so, you know, I think one of the hardest lessons in life was to learn. Obviously, I know everybody's not the same, but I thought that people had similar morals or ethics. And it took me for a really long time and working in the psych ward to find out that some of the psychiatric patients I thought were reacting more normal to situations than the general public. And this is because, like, so for example, you'd have a patient, and okay, what did you come in for today, sir? Well, my teacher was, not letting me go to the bathroom, for example. For whatever reason. And I had a teacher do that to me. And I was not the type to like get into it. Like, I lived close to home. And I just found this random note from the little cards that I had. And it says, "From Beth, happy birthday, Mom." And then I drew two balloons that look like I don't know what. So I don't know. I just found that. So, anyways, though, I'm getting rid of it because I'm trying to keep I mean, it's cute, but how many times am I going to look at that? So, decluttering your house is another thing. So, if you're lonely and you have your mind like being lonely, you can find a good book on Audible. You can go to the library. You can even go to a church. Try out a few different churches. Even if you're not a religious person, sometimes just like being in the church group can be helpful. And it is always great to know. It is important to understand different religions and why people think and act the way they do. That's why I said it's good to read books that you wouldn't usually read. It's good to participate in ceremonies you might not normally do. It's good to understand other people's perspectives. So another thing you can do if you are stuck during the holidays is start cleaning. I have noticed it's harder to sell things online than it used to be pre-COVID. I used to do pretty good selling like a lot of my stuff on Facebook, and now it's like I get mostly scammers. But there's next door. The OfferUp, I've never sold one item, and it takes a while to put stuff on there. And so Facebook Market and Nextdoor is what I use. And you can even use I started using Snapchat to sell things, and I've got quite a bit of what's it called, responses. So that would be something you can do is start to minimize. The minimal lifestyle is a good thing to look into. It really helps people focus on what's important, which is not stuff. For women, and I'm sure for men, it can get hard not to have a lot of stuff, especially as we get older. You start getting bigger, your weight changes. In Chicago, we have like every season, you have to have a million clothes. It can't just be like warm clothes or cold clothes. You have to have everything. If you have a child, you have a bunch of school supplies. And now it just seems like people don't wear the same shoes, even like girls and guys. And clothes just aren't made the same. So I would recommend taking a sewing class. My library actually has a sewing machine, and I am attempting to learn how to sew right now. My grandma taught me how to sew like little things like a button or, hem pants. That's not hard. It's really easy. But I would love to learn how to sew my own shirts, stuff just for me. But get rid of just like junk you don't need. Even if it did have like even if it had like some type of memory attached to it, or if it was a memento, just take a picture of it. That's that's what I do when I go on vacation and I don't want to buy something. I just take a picture of it, because it really does. Like I cleaned out my grandpa's basement when he died. Not only was it his stuff, but it was all my family's stuff from their divorces as well, and it was a lot of stuff. I did manage to sell most of it, and I got only for all these divorces in the basement. And all of his stuff. He didn't have a big house, but I got less than one like I can't remember what it's called, like I don't know, but it was like less than a garbage truck full. So that was nice. What else? So I think minimizing will give you a lot more time if you're not having to clean all the time, because like stuff's everywhere. Get more organized. Jordan Peterson's 12 rules for life. One of his rules is clean your house. You can't go out and attempt to clean the world when you can't even clean your own room, which is so very true. And there is the Japanese idea, I believe is it, no, I can't. I'm thinking Zen, but I don't think that's what it is. But it's about where things are in the room, how they look, and the energy it creates. And colors in a room do create a feeling, and a mess in a room creates a feeling. It can create a feeling of stress. So you don't want that. You want to feel comfortable in your area. You can also go through your closet and like, I try to do mine 4 times a year since we have 4 seasons in Chicago. And like, do I need this? Do I wear this? I do it with my son. Also, try to, if you can, for example, we have Diocese of Joliet near us, in the Chicagoland area, and they go on missions to Sucre, Bolivia, a few times a year. So you can bring your clothes there. I prefer that to taking my clothes to, for example, like what's it called? Goodwill, because Goodwill really actually does some pretty bad stuff with their clothes. When they don't use them, they send them over to parts of Africa and they sell these bundles. At one time, and they make the people pay for the bundles because the boat had to get over there. And they're sending them like almost garbage because they have so much fast fashion where the clothes fall apart now. Try not to buy that kind of stuff if you can. Um, it's just like not worth it. It's better to have a few nice pieces that'll be timeless than, for example, I bought a $700 coat in 2012. I was too fat to wear it for a few years, but I still have it and it's still beautiful and I still get like compliments on it. And the coat I had before that, I had for since fourth grade. So from fourth grade to age 25, it was because in the 90s, like big clothes were in. So I got it big. And then, yeah, it fit me for a really long time and it was nice. So buy clothes that will last. Yeah, you don't need like a million of everything. I know it's tempting because like I said, in certain areas, you might have to wear like different shoes if you're in different sports or different types of things, but try to keep them to a minimum and try to sell them when you're done with them. um, that is going to be the end of my session for today. I know I didn't touch on a ton of topics. I'd like to talk more about the breathing later. Um, but really check out Max Storm on TED Talks on YouTube. I think that's the only place it is posted right now. But make sure you're writing yourself a daily goal list. Your daily goal list is going to be the stuff you want to get done today. And you can write a weekly goal list, things that need to be done by the end of this week, month, and year, and then a 10-year plan if you have it. Of course, things come up, but also at the end of the day, as I mentioned, just want to go over it. Try to analyze how your day went, why it might have gone that way. If it went good, that's good. Sometimes we don't know what's good. There was a fable about that, but sometimes something might seem good and it might not be. I've heard people say that winning the lottery, a lot of lottery winners have said it's the worst thing that's ever happened to them because all of a sudden money grubbers come out of the woodwork. So that's just one example. But there's lots of other examples. For example, me getting hit by a car seemed like a really bad thing at the time. I was very depressed, but I was also sick and didn't know why. And if I wasn't hit by a car, I wouldn't have found out that I had a brain tumor. And I've been able to spend a lot more time with my son. And I was missing out on all his years as a child because I was always at work. And I hated my job and I was absolutely miserable. So although it was a big life change, I got to spend the last year of my grandpa's life with him. And so I also got to, during COVID, I was still recovering, so it kind of worked out for me. Anyways, so things, it just kind of depends how you look at them. One more thing, Billy Carson is a great person to listen to. Additionally, he always says heaven is inside us. Christ didn't say he himself was coming back, but that Christ is part of us. Every molecule in our body was here at the beginning of the universe. And so therefore, God has put in a spark in each of us. God, the creator, whatever made us, put a spark into each of us that is life. And you can see this by using certain types of cameras. Each being emits a light. Everything that is alive has a light coming out of it. And therefore, in a way, if you are able to access it, your brain is endless, and you have powers that you don't even know. A lot of these ancient arts, we think were miracles. It was things that people, you hear people doing Reiki now. Reiki is something that was proven to work a long time ago. It was healing of the hands. It is not something you can learn overnight. It is something that people went to study for years with elders. And the food we eat today mostly blocks our cells of being healthy enough to heal the energy field of another. And it has been proven in quantum physics that we do have energy fields around us. So, although I don't think Reiki healers in the United States do much of anything, I'd much rather get a massage. I don't believe that the whole thing is a hoax, so to speak. Wim Hof has proven that with the power of our mind, we can heal ourselves. Meditation and breathing leads to this. That's why I started with the breathing, and I'm going to start with that every time. And again, I know I talked a lot today, but I do offer our sessions. I offer for the first month, I do 4 1-hour sessions for free. So it would be like a month of 1-hour sessions. They're going to be free so we can make sure we're a good fit for each other, and that number one, I am able to help you and you don't need a higher level. And number two, that we're compatible. In addition to sessions talking to people, I offer doing breathing with people, because it can get kind of hard to do by yourself. So if you want to do and breathing together with somebody else also changes the process, and it feels more powerful when more than one person does it. So I can work on the 3 breathing types that I've learned with you. I can also do yoga. I was a competitive gymnast for 5 years, and I taught gymnastics, rhythmic gymnastics, that is, and did yoga for years. I took ballet, I took tango and salsa. So I am pretty good at teaching yoga classes, and we can do that online. I have also been in physical therapy for 20 years. I am not a physical therapist, however, but if you have physical therapy, I can help you to correct like your physical therapy, whatever it is you're doing. Just because I've done it so many times, I don't claim to be a physical therapist. I just want to put that out there. But I can watch you do your exercises, I can encourage you, and I can help you ensure that you're doing the exercises correctly, or even just having someone there to remind you can help you. And those are just some of the services that I offer. For, like I said, the first 4 talking sessions will be for free. I can listen to you if you need that. I can guide you to books if you want that. But it is best often to have a third party to listen to you. It can ruin relationships when you tell somebody that knows somebody that's in the middle. People can feel in the middle. Nobody likes to feel that. So those are the services that I offer. I will add them in the information section as well as my YouTube channel. And thank you for watching, and have a great and blessed day. Always be thankful for what you have, not what you don't have, because there's always someone that's going to have more than you, but there's a lot of people that have less. So have a great night. Thank you.